Welcome back to another video, everyone. It's Anthony TDG, or Anthony the Dubstep Gamer. So as you can see, I am here with a Yelan guide that I've been planning to make for a while, and I could have rolled it out sooner, like yesterday, but I accidentally deleted the files to the video while trying to clean up the unedited version, so I have to take the L on this one and re-record it. So yeah, I'm going to go over her best artifacts, weapons, and teams so you can optimally build her. So let's get started. Starting things off with an explanation of her kit, she is a sub DPS that is a staple for Vaporize teams and other reaction teams like Hyperbloom, and even a good character for hypercarry teams that need a sub DPS. Yelan's elemental skill basically puts her into a dash state where she can mark enemies and group them, doing a bit of Hydra damage, and if you hold the skill, she can run around the field a little faster, grouping enemies towards the center, doing a bit of Hydra damage, which scales off her max HP. This ability is overall pretty good for getting energy, grouping enemies, and is pretty good for overworld exploration as it does make her run faster and you can gain stamina from it. While her normal attacks are nothing special, her charge attacks are special charge attacks that scale off max HP called Breakthrough Barbs, and you can tell if you have them based off of going for Bracelet, and it's quicker to draw. Now on to her elemental burst. She primarily does her damage off field in the form of her elemental burst, which applies hydro and damages enemies off field, similar to Xinqui. Now with every mention of Yelan, there's always going to be comparisons between her and Xinqui, but I'm going to say that you shouldn't compare them because they both help your account in unique ways, and even though they fill a similar role, they're both good at it, and who says you can't use them both? They're both very top tier characters to have, so having them both will skyrocket your account, and it just makes them really good, especially since they have good team synergy. It's very similar to Yai and Fischl. You can't compare them even though it's a very similar role, they do it differently, and they work good together. The biggest difference between Yelan and Xinqui is that Yelan has more damage and a buffing passive that benefits on-field characters, while Xinqui has overall more utility with healing and damage reduction. Now that we got the kit explanation and the comparison out of the way, let's start the guide. So, starting things off with the talents, the talent priority is going to be pretty obvious. You want to prioritize her elemental burst first, as it is the bulk of her damage for off-field things, then her elemental skill, and her special charge attacks are kinda optional because you're not really going to use them much in rotation, but if you want to, you can do that. It's really important around C6 Yelan, but before that, not really. Now on to the weapons. With her best weapons, Aqua Simulacra is her signature weapon, and it does provide a lot of crit damage, HP, and a damage bonus when there's enemies nearby, so it is her best weapon. However, her second best weapon, and I just recommend it as her best weapon for most players, is the Favonius Bow because it does provide a lot of energy recharge. And it does provide white particles for the team when she crits, so it gives her more overall utility, and it does synergize with her best artifact set. Now if you don't have any 5-star or 4-star options, you can always go for a Recurve Bow or Slingshot. I'd recommend Recurve Bow a little bit more because it does have HP, which is pretty good for Yelan as she scales off of it. Now this is the perfect segue into her best artifact sets. So what's going to be undoubtedly her best artifact set is going to be 4-piece Emblem, and it's not even close. Okay, but I say this because it does provide energy recharge and a burst damage bonus which scales off the energy recharge, which is a win-win situation because you want to build energy recharge on her and get her burst damage higher, so it's pretty great. Her other options are a step below the set, but if you need to, you can build 4-piece Tenacity, 4-piece Sniff Stream, or 4-piece Heart of Death. If you don't want to use 4-piece sets, you can 2-piece Suitpiece with Cautious Glow, or any of the other sets. I can't recommend 4-piece Emblem enough though, as it was a very resin efficient domain, and now that it's on the strong box, there's no excuse not to get it. By the way, I'm not saying that Emblem is a resin inefficient domain today because it's on the strong box, but it's just a lot more worth it to just farm new sets and then strong box it. Now for the optimal artifact stats you would want to put on your Yelan, I would recommend an HP Sands as she does primarily scale off of that for damage, a Hydra damage bonus Goblet as stacking too much HP would not be that good, and a crit circlet, either crit rate or crit damage. I recommend crit rate for Favonius Lance, but crit damage can be good if you need it to balance your ratio. Now onto her team. So she can be played as a sub DPS for vaporized carries like Yoimiya, Diluc, or Klee. In this instance, I have Yoimiya, so I will use her as an example. Yelan synergizes pretty well with Pyro carries because she can provide follow-up Hydro damage for the Pyro carry to vaporize off of it, and since she does have that buffing passive that can increase the damage bonus of that carry, it just synergizes pretty well. Now, she does have that first Ascension passive where she gets more HP the more different elemental types of teammates there are, but it's not really the biggest increase and it's not something you would build a team toward. Another variant of this Yoimiya team that you could try with Yelan is replacing Yunjin with Xingqiu so you can get more follow-up Hydra damage and it actually clears faster because they both synergize pretty well doing a lot of damage together. This double Hydra team is exactly why Hu Tao teams are pretty powerful. And what is arguably Yelan's best team that she is in is a Hyperbloom team that is centered around Nahida, Raiden, Xingqiu, and Yelan, triggering Hyperbloom, and it is the best single target team in the game. It's pretty good, especially in the Abyss right now. Another team that you could try out with Yelan is a mono Hydra team in which Kokomi, Yelan, Xingqiu, and Kazuha all work together to do Hydra damage. This team's primary goal is to do a lot of Hydra damage in single target as it is a single target focused team, and it does pretty decent. It's not the best team, but it is pretty nice. Now the last team I got for you is a Eula team in which I'd like to call a mommy team for very obvious reasons. But it is a functional team that Eula does function in. It's more shatter focused, but it still focuses on a lot of Eula's physical damage, Shenhe's buffing, Raiden buffing and doing electro, and Yelan doing some follow-up damage while buffing Eula. But that's all for the Yelan guide. If you guys like this video, please leave a like and subscribe as I do very much appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video and enjoy the showcase.
Are you just gonna take that? Or will you fucking fight back? Or will you fucking fight back?